How's it going, everyone? I got some locals gameplay for y'all, and I want to get ahead of the locals allegations from those that go to my locals. Firstly, we got Bonney versus Arlong. I love this man, and I love the fact that he's playing Arlong. He always brings the best decks to locals, gotta be honest. But I want to get ahead of the locals allegations because I had recorded 2 previous weeks, and I know you're saying, Pecan, were you just avoiding posting your losses? Nuh-uh. It's worse. I couldn't figure out how to get the footage off my dang iPhone. I was getting a bunch of weird errors, and it turns out I just needed to update my phone. So yeah, I wasn't trying to just dodge posting some losses, you know, even though I didn't do bad, all right, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't know if you guys want to see like a couple of week old at this point footage, because honestly, I think the first week that I recorded was even before set 8.5, but we're cutting here. I think we're going second, I want to say, against the Arlong. I was kind of talking to my man about it. I was honestly thinking about building Arlong a while ago, but that was back when the promo Zoro was big in a lot of the lists, and I think he was like $40 or something, and I was not about to pay that. I do fix the camera angle a little bit better here in a second. So as you can see from our hand, I'm looking to see what I want to prioritize searching out first. I was kind of looking for, I think, Cavendish here. We ended up just getting a Hawkins, which is pretty good. I don't think he's going to have anything really to be able to remove this. And I was hoping that, you know, he would just swing into my searchers. But this man's crazy. Oh, he was telling me here he had a really bad hand. I looked away for this, and yeah, his hand was a little bit weird at first, and it just kept getting weirder. But locals are just a lot of having fun, you know. I just switched over to a different Bonney list at this point, so you'll see I don't have any Arouge. I think I'm running like 3 Hawkins as opposed to the 4, and just a lot more of the top end. So he's just cheating out some bodies with Arlong. If you're unfamiliar with Arlong's ability, he is similar to the Blue Doflamingo, attaching 2 Dawn, swinging 7, resting 1 to play out a body, but it is a 4-cost trigger, I believe. So here we find the Cavendish. We're going up to 4 Dawn at this point, so we have 3 left. Just swing a 5 at life. I believe he takes just to try and get a body out, but unfortunately doesn't get it. So we're going down to 1 Dawn left here, searching it with maybe 5. We end up finding the 10-drop Doflamingo, but don't think we really need it. So we'll just take another searcher for counter. I don't want to have too many bricks in my hand because, yeah, we already have 1 10-drop. And honestly, I don't know if we would need a second with our hand. Our hand is pretty decent right now for the matchup, I would say. Second 10-drop definitely could help, but after he's just started swinging at my life, I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit worried about just getting rushed down, especially with, you know, him playing on bodies every turn. So here he plays down the 4-cost Arlong that trashes a card from your hand, and then your opponent's, I think, leader or characters can't attack the next turn. So now our leader can't attack, and all we've got on the board is 2 searchers. And there we go. More cards in the hand, but now that we do have the 2 searchers, we can just fill up our hand. So we play out the Cavendish at 6 Dawn, giving us 3 Dawn back active. Well, total of 3 Dawn, right? These are 5 Dawn for the Cavendish, so 1 left, and then unresting 2 to give us 3. We take the 0 cost again because I'm a little bit worried about just getting rushed down at this point. Looking here, I think I'm just looking to take something with counter. Another searcher. So we pass here with 1 Dawn open. Again, just 2 searchers and a Cavendish on board. And yeah, I think I have like 12 cards or something at this point. Oh yeah, and also shout out to the 10 drop from PRB01. I love that artwork so much. So of course he's going with his leader, and the bad thing about Arlong, honestly, for our matchup is that his characters come out active. So we don't get to use, just abuse the fact that they're coming out rested like in Blue Doflamingo. So we end up taking, because I know I have the 8-drop kid and I can kind of protect myself with there. If I really needed to, I'm going up to 8 Don this next turn. At 8 Don with Bonney, you can do the 8-drop kid combo because that Cavendish gets you back that 2 Don. So it's essentially like you have 10 Don to work with, right? And we are down to 2 life. You know, so I think I am thinking about doing the 8-drop kid here, but I don't believe I do because I know I won't be able to search with my baby 5. And since I have the baby 5 out already, it hasn't died. I want to kind of just keep using that to fill my hand as much as I can because I know he can't really do too much about our hand size besides just swinging at us, right? So that is 7 Don used by searching and then playing out our 6-drop Hawkins. So we should have 1 Don and then restanding 2 more to go back up to 3. There's a blocking. It goes to 2K, which makes me tempted to just swing to the blocker, which we end up doing. And then we just do another 2 Don for another blocker, leaving 1 Don open, kind of showing off our hand. Big hand at this point. I think we're at 13 in hand. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, again, I just can't say how much I love playing against this man. He's playing red ace, Arlong, a lot of just really fun decks. I will be bringing back probably Vivi or Marco or just something a bit different to locals soon, so hopefully I can get some footage of that. But let me know in the comments where you would want to see me try and play locals. I've been meaning to build a Vegapunk too. I want to build King, a lot of different stuff. So he ends up doing Arlong again to make it so my leader can't swing, and then we block, go up to 8K, resting his blocker. And then kills my searcher. And then I think I'm just worrying about protecting my Cavendish so that I can use the 10-drop Doflamingo next turn and still have leader ability. And yeah, his big swings, you know, the 7s and 9s and 8s, all that, like, they're chipping away at my hand size at least. Gotta be honest, I think I forgot about the Frankie swing here. I think he's swinging like 10 or 9 with it. I think it's 9. Yeah, it's 9 because I give him 2 2Ks here to go up to 10 to save the Cavendish. Because again, I really want to get off the 10 drop with some Don open. So yeah, we 10 Dofi. So we freeze his leader, Arlong and Sanji. So he counters out of the 6K into Frankie. Really could have gone 8 there. That was, I think, the only thing I could have done better. But we got the Frankie anyway. I don't think he had too many cards left in hand at that point, but I think also he just ended up getting a lot of his Satori in hand in this matchup, which is a 5-drop, so you can't play it out with his leader building. So he's swinging, I think, 10 at Cavendish. And we do have the counter, but it is chipping away at our hand a lot. Down to like 6 in hand. So we get the carrot. So our leader can attack again this turn. So we do choose to go for the 8-drop kid, even though our hand is a little bit less, but we do have the Hawkins still. So now I'm just trying to get down his life a little bit. gets a trigger body out. But I know as long as I can protect my kid with the bit of counter I have in my hand, and then the Rosinante I'm about to play out, and then also the Hawkins, that we should be good to just go for game the next turn. So we're down to 5 in hand. But as soon as he swings, you know, you can rest the blocker and then just go for game. I guess that's the whole point of this build, right? Just focusing more early game on just our searchers, especially when we can not worry about like hand disruption, right? Or like a pudding coming down. But I think he knows that we picked up both of these, or at least one of the 0 cost. And knows that we can rest the blocker as soon as he swings. But honestly, at this point, I was kind of just watching a bit of the Imagined Exos. It was Vegapunk versus Nami, and it looked pretty fun. I want to build Vegapunk. He seems pretty fun in set 8, and also I think he did do pretty good in a regional or a treasure cup lately. So he plays out the Nami to KO our blocker, but we still have a good amount of counter in hand. I think he's swinging 11 at us, so we 0 cost and then use another counter. So then, yeah, we just go big number with our kid here. Could have gone like 20 with Dopey. Yeah, it's a very fun game. I honestly really respect him bringing in that Arlong, and it's always just a joy to play against whatever he brings. Our next match is against Smoker. I believe we lose the dice roll, and I think we're going first here. So we have like a pretty decent hand, but I get a little greedy in mulligan. We didn't have any searchers, so no early game at all. But honestly, I think I kind of regret mulliganing here. I remember anytime I mulligan, it always gets a little worse, but it is what it is. You know, it's just locals. I just came here. I want to have a good time with my new deck list. Honestly, I wish I recorded some of the Marco game from the week before. Marco is such a fun deck, but been playing Bonney since like set 7, and I just enjoy anytime you get to try out a new deck list. So yeah, we get at least some searchers, and the 10 drop is definitely going to help us a lot. And hoping to find, honestly, maybe a second one, or our 8 drop Rosinante is really good in this matchup, just to be able to protect our 5 costs. So he uses the Sengoku that lets you trash 2 Navy cards to draw 3. So we go up to 3 Don, search. Get pretty bad for missing that Hody. So we take another baby 5 searcher. Honestly, yeah, I think I'm going to just swing 5 and then do the other baby 5 searcher, to be honest. But I think I'm looking for a Cavendish, so that's why I am thinking about doing the Bonney, but we do the baby 5. So we find another 10 drop. We also find the 8 drop, which again protects any original 8 cost characters, or protects original active 5 costs. So really good for this. But here I'm just gonna lose both my searchers. Although I think the Tashigi from the starter deck for Smoker trashes the 5 cost rather than KOs, or the 0 cost, right? But you can essentially kill a 5 cost with his leader ability and that. But getting the Brook out so early, I'm kind of scared of this, to be honest. We get the Cavendish, I'm thinking about saving the Cavendish for the Rosinante, but I kind of want to just apply pressure to force him to block out. So I'm going to just swing 6 into the Brook. And I get the block. Yeah, argument definitely could be made that it should have played out the carrot there. Definitely, because then I could have at least protected the Cavendish on my 8th on turn. So yeah, that's probably my one of my bigger blunders in the early game. I think I really should have played out the carrot to on play freeze the Brook. And I think he's still getting used to the new smoker support, and which I think he was saying that you have to activate the Tashigi first and then the smoker or something like that, just to get the plus 1000 for smoker's leader ability. But I ended up taking the leader swing anyway, which I believe smoker's leader ability is like if there's a character with a cost of 0 on the board, then he gains another plus 1000, kind of similar to Katakuri with the Don attached. So now we play out the carrot because I can Rosinante into my Julie Bonney in case he plays out like a jack, which I don't think he ends up playing, but that is my favorite play to do against the jack, is to hit him with the Rosinante into the Bonney to freeze. So he hits me with the Isho, rips 2. So we lost the blocker and our Bonney. Unfortunate. So there goes our play with the Rosinante. And we counter out because he's starting to play bigger buys and I don't want to get just absolutely demolished. Kind of in any like black matchup, I realize they're just going to kill my characters through KO for the most part. So I'm just trying to prolong to like get out my 10 drops. But we end up top decking the Bonney anyway, which is kind of really lucky. So I'm looking this turn to freeze 2 of his characters. Maybe should have frozen his Don, but I realize he has the Isho on board, so I think he probably could have KO'd like our 5 cost anyway. Oh, and because we were going first, we're at 9 Dons. We have the Don open after playing out the Rosinante. So yeah, just going over, like, it is a bit of a weird stipulation that he protects active original 5 cost characters. So you have to kind of KO him first before you then go to KO the 5 cost. But I think he is looking for a way to KO the Rosinante at this point, and then can just swing into the carrot, which he does. So maybe I should have kept that counter. Maybe I should have taken the life, but is what it is. So he Ice Ages him down to a 3. Plays out the Gecko Moria, trashing that Sengoku and a Brook, keeping his Tashigi on board. Plays out the Rebecca and brand new search. I think he takes the Ice Age here. Also, I do have these sped up a little bit just because we did have 4 rounds, I believe, for this. So yeah, he takes the Ice Age, and then Rebecca effect. He takes back a 2k Shigi to hand, and then plays out Kobe to kill our 3 cost, trashing something from hand. Trashing a brand new. So we're just left with our 5 drop Bonney. Not a great hand, I'm going to be honest. Like, we do go up to 10 Don. So we can play out the 10 drop, which is what we're going to do. We're just swinging as life. Trying to hopefully top deck a Hody too at some point. I do believe for this list, I cut down to 3 Hody because I was just kind of trying out a list that I saw. I'll put the list at the end and talk about it more, but I immediately, after playing this match particularly, I bumped the Hody back up to 4. I just feel like I need to see it in some matchups. Well, not need to, but it really does help. There's so many times where it's just, if you have Hody, it's a pretty much guaranteed win. So he goes 9 into our Bonney. And here I'm just hoping that our 10 drop sticks because I need something on board, especially with him having a blocker up. We don't really have the best options. So I'm just hoping to get like a 5 drop out of life or my top deck or even just another 10 drop. Because really the only threat I have in my hand right now is another 8 drop Rosinante. Which again really helps in this matchup, protecting your 5 cost that you play out with him, but I wish I had been able to establish like a Hawkins a little bit earlier. So he's swinging 6 of life, and here I think when I froze the Isho, Dashigi, and the leader. And we're going back and I was just making sure that it didn't mess up any of his idea, like anything he had planned out to do with his Don, right? Because again, just the locals, I don't mind people taking back moves, especially if something gets lost, because we're in a pretty small-ish room. It gets kind of loud, you know. So plays out Sabo. Got 2 blockers up at this point, so even though we have a play now with our Rosinante into our Cavendish, and here we have a little bit of unfortunate. I think that 10 drop was our next card, so maybe it didn't even want to search there. But I think I'm kind of realizing in my head here, I'm like, what did I realistically want from searching here? I don't know what could have saved me. I only run 2 of those 5 drop Bonnies specifically for the black matchups to freeze a Jack, right? Or some yellow matchups to keep them out of their top end. But in this case, I really didn't need to play that out, but it ends up working because it just kind of replaces herself, and then having those repeat searchers out on the board does act as like you kind of want to get rid of them, even though in this position, he's at a really good spot to go for game. I'm at 2 life, 4 hand, 1 Don, no blockers. So he has 5 swings, which is technically 4 with my leader ability. But 4 swings into 2 life, right? Like that's just pretty good math for him, given that he has 2 9k swings, right? I'm just going to rest the second 9k swing, obviously, but he still has 2 6k swings. And I believe here he could bump up his leader, right? Doesn't Smoker also with his leader ability -1? So he could -1 my searcher and then get that plus 1000. So we take, and yeah, I think if he just kept going for face, he would have probably won, as we got a brick from life. But honestly, I don't think we went through too many 2Ks earlier, so I mean, good on him for playing it safe too. You never know how many... You never know how much counters I'm going to have, especially Bonney. But at this point, I'm like wishing I had a Hody just to guarantee next turn. As long as like my 10 drop lives, we're in a really good spot. And also the fact that the Rosinante kind of protects the Cavendish too, Like, if a Hody comes out here, it's really good. You know, you Hody, rest the blockers, you have Cavendish to swing to get you back some of that Don you used on Hody, and then you got 2 other big swings with Hody and the 10 drop to kind of finish it out. Right. But I think here he's just looking to get rid of something and just deciding what target he can best hit. Honestly, a lot of close games here. I'm liking the 8-drop kid more and more in like current meta. So he hits me with that second Ice Age that we saw him pick up. So the Rosinante is now a 3 cost. And then I think he plays out another Tashigi. And then here, yeah, we're talking about how I think she could have got she should have been able to get rid of the Cavendish. But honestly, getting rid of the big body when we're so close to just kind of going for game is also valid, you know? Then I take my last life hoping to find a Hody, because at that point, yeah, we can just go for game. However, yeah, the Hody would be the perfect game ending here. But we do have a perfect 8-drop Captain Kidd right now with the Rosinante to protect him. And I think that's what we're looking for, because he does have 2 blockers, so it is kind of impossible for me to go for game at current state. So realistically, I need another turn. So I swing 10 at an Isho, hoping he just doesn't have the counter. I think he only has like 2 in hand or something like that. Pretty low hand. And also, maybe he just, yeah, gives us a blocker. So we just 8-drop. And I don't play out the blocker yet, even though I attach the Don. I'm just kind of visualizing how much Don I'll have, because he could get a trigger out of life that kills our blocker, which would just kind of end the game right there for us, honestly. So we swing 6 at life with Cavendish, restand to Don. I'm thinking about searching, but realistically, at best case scenario, you're paying that 1k counter to maybe find a 2k counter, which I don't think we've seen too much of our Scratch Menapoo, but I'm just going to swing at life 7 to pressure out those blocker counters to, again, if we live this turn, then we have a much easier time going for game the next turn, right? So realistically, yes, he does have 2 9k bodies, but you have to think with Bonney, that is really only 1 9k body and then the 6k Tashigi and his leader, right? And now I have 5 in hand, 1 Don, and the blocker, right? So he realistically needs at least 2 swings of his 5 for my kid, unless he has anything to KO it directly. Which, yeah, I think with 10 Don, you can get there. By just swinging like even that just base 9k to get out a 2k counter, but honestly maybe just like 11, unless you have something that can just KO the Rosinante blocker for very cheap. Of course, because then that just dedicates less swings into the kid and then more at my life. But so I'm sitting here thinking I have a 2 2Ks, right? And then 3 1k counters. So at least my hand isn't just bricks. But it is still really close depending on what he wants to do. And yeah, you might be saying anything. It's a very straightforward play of attaching Don into it, but you never know what a player has in their hand. And especially with a blocker up and a Don open for Bonney, right? it could easily swing against you depending on how much Don you attach, right? I think he ends up playing out a Gecko, I want to say, which also valid if you can kill one of my bodies. If you can kill the kid somehow. So we swing in. Still debating what we want to do with it on. So we get Don on Isho for that -3. Swings 10 at the kid. Of course, we rest the other 9k, and then we go down to 3 cards in hand, given 2k and 1k. So everything has -3 right from Isho. Yeah, pretty much anything to KO our Rosinante would put us in a bit of trouble, but honestly, then we still have 4k counter, right? So if you have to spend at least 3 to 4 to get rid of the Rosinante with like a Kobe or a Lucci, then I might even have the counter after that to just block out with the kid, and then, yeah. So here he minuses from the 8-drop kid. And again, big thing to remember is our Rosinante can save our rested characters from KO. So yeah, he geckos into Rebecca brand new. Not bad if you can kill the 8-drop kid, but again, we can save him from KO effects right now, right? With the Rosinante. Because now you have 2 blockers established, so if you can counter out of one of my swings, right, kill one of my bodies, then you're a pretty good spot. So he plays out the Brook that would KO, but we sacrifice the Rosinante. And now he has 4 in hand. We have our kid, Cavendish, and a 10-drop. No, Hody still. So here I'm just thinking swings. I know he's picked up some 2Ks from his Rebecca's. We just go 9 of life. He blocks out. So I'm thinking he probably doesn't have that much counter. We just go 11 to guarantee, hopefully we get out that last blocker or like all of his Don. He blocks out, and then we just go like 14 with Cavendish. GG, a very close game. And I think just discussing how he could have maybe removed the 8-drop kid or the 10-drop Doflamingo. But again, I think it was a second week on Smoker. I always feel a little bit of a jerk, honestly, playing Bonney into people that are like learning decks and like trying new things, because I don't always bring Bonney to locals, but you know, I have been playing the deck like since set 7 came out, and honestly Bonney's pretty straightforward in a lot of scenarios, right? You're just playing out like the biggest card that I can to help deal with the situation on board. And here we're going against Blue Doflamingo. And I believe we get to go second. Which, yeah, we do let him get first, you know, but I think going second in the Blue Doflamingo is what I like to do, at least. If he gets the 6 Don first and just hits us with the Jozu, then that kind of hurts our curve a lot. And I am just anticipating at least one Jozu to hit the board and mess up my curve. So here in the Blue Dopey matchup, I'm really looking for, like, obviously the 5-drop carrot. We get a decent hand, but like, again, I'm looking for the 5-drop carrot. I'm looking for my 10 drops. definitely if we can get a good amount of freeze on our board, then that helps a ton. I've learned to, you know, not really take every single life against Blue Dofi, especially with how easy it is for them to play out pudding and then just keep replaying it. Given that they can bounce it back to hand with the 4-drop Law from the starter deck. So our hand's a little bit crazier. And we end up just searching with the baby 5. Again, looking for the 10-drop. We got a couple of Cavendish, or a Cavendish and I think a couple of Hawkins. So we find our 10-drop. So yeah, 2 Hawkins, Bonney, Cavendish, a 2K counter. So we swing in 7 at our baby 5. Go to 4 Don. No other play, so we're just going to swing 8 at life. Or no, 8 at... Yeah, 8 at life. Again, I know normally mostly we'll just swing at the Doflamingo's board. However, he only has 1 character on board and we're leaving a Don up, so it really is just 1 swing anyway. So I can swing at the Law the next turn. Still could argue maybe I should have just swung at the Law anyway, but he gets the Jinbei, and I think he's probably just going to go 5 here just so we can play out the Jinbei, which, yeah, 5, so we'll just rest him. And I'm thinking about just countering out here. Yeah, we do. Just so, again, we're a little bit less in danger of hitting the, like, getting hit with pudding, you know? If you have 8 or 9 cards, it's a pretty easy strategy for them to just hit us with the pudding. So here we go, play out our other Cavendish. Going back up 3 active Don, swing 7. Looking for 2 cards out of his hand. And I think we get 3K counter. And again, I'm thinking of still not sure if I maybe want to just bump up the carrot to 4 copy. I think I'm running 3 carrot right now, just to make room for 2 Bonney for the black matchups again, and any like yellow or top end heavy matchup. Really helps in mirror matchup too. If you can deny like mirror match Bonney their 10 drops, then you're in a pretty good spot. So now he's just swinging. We're giving counter. Try not to go again too low on life or anything. So he hits us with the Jozu, bounces it back. Our Cavendish going up to 8 Don. So we're going to swing 5 at Jinbei. And here I'm thinking of playing out the Cavendish for 5 Don, leaving 3 up, and then, you know, restanding 2 to go back up to 5, and then using that 5 to play out a Bonney to freeze one of his characters, the Weevil. And yeah, I don't have any Don up after this. However, we still get rid of one of his swings anyway, and we establish 2 6K bodies. Might put him in. I was kind of expecting Grav Blade, honestly. Especially when he plays out the Sengoku. But no, I think he can only take 7 Warlords, right? Not Navy. So he gets back to the Gecko that can take something back from trash. And here I'm just hoping that our Cavendish stays. But again, expecting it to get bottom decked or bounced, because then we can play out the 10 drop. He swings 7, waiting for me to rest something, but you know, I let him know I didn't have any Don up. Will you get the Hody? No 8-drop kid right now. And now that he's realized we don't have any Don up, and now he's just kind of deciding if he wants to go really aggressive with his last Don. So I don't know if at this point he had a Grav Blade, but I think, yeah, definitely vowed to just keep swinging like 7s and 9s at me. Luckily, we are able to counter out of the 7. And at that point, he's attached too much Dawn, so he can't Grav Blade to get rid of our bodies. And now he's going 9 with his remaining Dawn. So yeah, we take down to 1 life is pretty scary. However, we get the kid and Rosinante so we can protect later. But now we're hitting him with the 10 drop to freeze his Jozu, Jinbei, and his leader. And now we're going 5 at Jinbei to restand to Dawn. And now we can essentially go 6 and 6 at his Jinbei. And then here I'm going 6 at the Law, hoping that he gives me a 2k, but he ends up just letting it go because... But now he only has the Sengoku to swing at us, right? We have 6 in hand as we've been countering out. Again, to avoid the pudding. I was just debating swinging like 12 with Sengoku. He ends up playing out the draw Kaido. Really good into Bonney, I believe. So he gets us with that. But luckily for us, we have another 10 drop that we're just going to kind of chain out here. So we hit him with another 10 drop. Goes 6, freestand 2 at life. Trying to even out the life score here and maybe establish the kid the following turn. Knowing that realistically we have a 12k swing coming at us and that's it. So he counters out and then we hit him with 10. So he's down to I think 2 life now. At least we have a little bit of counter now, but not a lot. These 2 Hawkins have kind of sat in my hand for a minute. That is kind of what happens when you get hit with the Jozu. That bouncing a character back to your hand really throws off your tempo and your curve. And that's why now we're just stuck with that dead card in our hand. So he's going 12 into our Cavendish, obviously. Big threat. Even though we have that 10 drop on board, why wouldn't you just give rid of the 10 drop? Well, right, he's filling his board back up with active characters so that we can't just keep more frozen, right? Now he has more things that he can guaranteed swing with the following turn, right? Because if he just leaves a bunch of characters frozen, then that's just easy for me to swing into and freeze, right? Now he has at least 2 swings. Debating if I play out the 10 drop now, I don't have the Cavendish to restand the Dawn, so he would still have 2 swings. At that point, you can probably just split and kill me, right? So it puts me in a little bit of an awkward spot. Playing out the Boa as his last Dawn, stacking his deck, and then just attach because I think that's part of Boa's requirement to attach Dawn, right? Yeah, MVP of the day definitely is the 10 drop for sure. It's hard to believe that I ever played it at less than 4 copies, to be honest. So we restand with 2 10 drops and the 6k Bonney. Debating, we could go for lethal here, 2 life. We can rest his blocker, and I don't think he has any counter events with Dawn, but he has like 8 cards in hand and 2 life. So realistically, we don't have huge swings after using 7 Dawn for Hody, right? And then if he does counter out of them, like we would need 3 swings to go through if he counters out. I think we could have maybe had it because I think we know he has a Weevil in hand from something he bounced back. So we know he has 1 dead card in hand. But 2 life and then 7 other cards that I don't know is pretty rough spot, even though we have 2 10 drops. So I'm putting a lot of thought. I think I'm just going to try and kill his Jozu with my 10 drops. I think I'm swinging at 5 here first to bait out counter, because I don't think he would want to really swing with his block, right? In case I play out another 10 drop. But I'm thinking here, if I either just go for game, we got at least 1k counter out of his hand with a swing, but I think still be a little late because we'd have to have 3 swings connect. We'd have 4 swings, 6, 8, and 10, 2 10s with 3 Dawn left. So realistically, we could go like 7, 9, 10, 10, or 10, 11, right? So I just wanted to try and build better habits. I don't often look at people's trash to see how much counter they got, but kind of want to just take a look, and I see really, he doesn't have a lot in trash. Not a lot of 2K counters in there. So like, yeah, I am kind of scared for trying to push for game here with only 4 swings. So yeah, 10 of Jozu, hoping to get rid of that 7K swing, because now I'm gonna play out the 8-drop kid. I don't want to have to deal with that 7K. And I think he's thinking about either my next turn with how much counter he has, or his next turn, debating if he really wants to save this or not, because he knows I still have 10 Don, 7 cards in hand. He doesn't realize how little counter there is, though. But so he attacks and then lets it go, and we swing 6 of life. He takes, so down to 1 life, which is good for us for our next turn if we can survive. So we play out the kid. Realistically here, I'm in danger if he bounces the Rosinante back and just swings 12 into our kid, because I can barely just not get out of that. And then we have 4 swings left, technically 3 with leader ability, but 3 swings against 1 life. Pretty much GG at that point. But again, honestly, as anyone facing down against Bonney with an 8-drop kid out and a blocker and a Don, it makes you think about your turn. It really makes you think about how you want to sequence things and how you want to use your Don. Because, again, you never know how much counter a player has in their hand and how quickly you can get messed up. So still thinking. He plays out the Gecko, which when he does that, I get a little bit hopeful because that's 4 Don down. He takes out the Law. Now, if he uses 4 Don, then he's down to 2 Don left. And I'm thinking I might be able to survive with blocking out 1 with leader ability and then a 2K. And then if he bounces back that 1K counter to my hand, that's 3K counter against only 2 Don left. I could manage to save myself here. So he plays out the Law. Just trashing the Moria. But really, realistically, I guess it didn't matter which, if you trash that Gecko, because you would have to bounce something of your own anyway. So you're getting rid of an active swing anyway when he plays out that Law, because you have to bounce one of your own characters, I believe, other than Law as the first target, right? You can bounce the Law that you play out as the second target of it. But then, yeah, again, he puts a lot of Don, 14 at our kid, and yeah, it's dead. But now he only has 2 5K swings. He passes, but realizes he can still just swing with 5 and 5. And, you know, I just give him the counter that I would have given him, you know, regardless of what I drew, right? Because again, it's a locals. I don't mind taking back some plays, especially if it's not going to like drastically impact the game. You know, and that's what we're saying here. It's like, oh, if I swung with those 5, I would have taken the 1 and then countered out of the other, right? Which we had the counter anyway, but I give him the 1K from life. So now we know he has 1 dead card in hand, and I think 4 in hand. So 3 cards that could be counter. And we know one of them is a 1K, right? So I can just swing 10 here and get the first life, but I kind of forgot that one of them was 1K. But he still has, or no, he has 7 in hand. Sorry, 7 in hand. We know he has 1 dead card and 1 1K. But I thought he still had 2 life, but no, he's just down to 1. So yeah, I'm just going to swing 13 and then, yeah, big number, like 18 of life. I'm sitting here thinking he had still 2 life and 7 cards in hand. So, you know, you have to really think about the math for a second. But yeah, I think if he just swung with Don, or if he had the Law, but I think he had to get back the Law from trash. But if he had the law in hand and just swung a little bit higher, then yeah, he might have been able to get it. But unfortunately, with them not having the law in hand, it kind of throws off your math a lot. All right, shout out to our last match of the night against the PRB01 Sanji. I was hoping more people would end up playing this deck, but honestly, in terms of like aggression decks, I think Dofi is still just too good. So we're going second here. Realistically, yeah, just playing out the blocker because I know I'm going to be hit with 2 swings each turn, and I can't use my leader ability because Sanji, if you don't know, he is activate main, give one of your, I think, 9 or lower characters without an on-play effect rush. So he's giving things rush. So basically, he swings out and then plays out another card to give rush. So I can't use my leader ability to rest that second card, right? So yeah, he's just swinging 8. So we'll just block out. I know I'm going to have to try and survive for late game. Hopefully see some more blockers. We don't, so we swing 8 here, leaving 1 open. Don't really need to, but it at least requires them to be aware of that and make sure they don't play out their card before swinging, right? So yeah, just swinging 8 of life, takes. And yeah, not even too much counter in hand, but at least we have the carrot. So we'll be able to start locking down his board. And we do have 2 10 drops, which again, if I can live to play down, that can really help. You know, not many games aren't won by playing 2 or more 10 drops. So he plays out the vanilla Frankie, rushes 6 at us. We do get a little bit of counter from our life with that 0 cost event. We just swing 5 at life. And we were just going to freeze his Frankie. So he gives us a 1k counter. And then we freeze the Frankie, leaving 1 open. Again, doesn't really matter with our leader ability too much. I'm realizing Sanji is a pretty good aggro deck against Bonney, because you can just keep hitting me twice per turn. And can be pretty bad if I can't kind of stabilize and get out blockers. But we do run, you know, 4 of our Rosinantes. I think I got 1 beige in there right now. And then, of course, if we can get the 8 drop, that can also help us a lot. As you can't just Jambe past the 8 drop kid, right? So he's swinging 6 at life here. Really don't want to take down to 2 because I know I'm going to get hit with a probable, I think it's 6 down open, so probably an 8k rush. So we're going to 0 cost. Yep, he's going to swing 8 at us. We'll take. We do get another 0 cost, thankfully. So we draw into a Hawkins. We got 8 done, so I'm thinking about playing out the Rosinante into the Cavendish. And then freezing the Thatch, swinging into the Frankie. So we play out our Cavendish off the Rosinante, get 2 Dawn back so we can swing 6 and 6 at either Life or Frankie. So we're going to swing with Carrot first to freeze that Thatch, get rid of his 8k swing. And he just lets it go because obviously he can just rush out another character anyway. Maybe he doesn't have that much counter because he takes the 6 at life. But now we're kind of stabilizing a little bit as not really much he can do against our Cavendish. So we can pretty safely play out the 10 drop wall, keeping Dawn open in case he, you know, does get more characters on the board. But you just kind of try to lock down and control the board while we establish our big bodies. Because yeah, I think the Sanji deck doesn't play anything above an 8 cost. I think it's an 8 cost or lower you can give rush to. So we know at least our top end is going to be a little bit, you know, scarier. So he gives us 7 at life. I think I'm going to zero cost this to, again, not go down too low. So yeah, give the Hody. I don't think he plays too many blockers in this. It's pretty much a lot of rush. So he plays out the Wapple, right? Which Wapple with 1 Adon when it's hacking buffs himself 1k or 2k. Minuses 2 from an opponent's character. So he puts our Rosinante down to 6k, and then it buffs the Wapple up 1k for the next turn too. So that Wapple is a 7k body now. So a little scary, can't really swing into him. But we get the 10 drop, so another 10 drop. So now we have 3 10 drops, right? We swing 6 at life, restand 2. I'm debating not swinging with the carrot here, but part of me wants to, because I know I have another 10 drop and it gives him a target to swing into other than my Cavendish. And yeah, the carrot is also a pretty big threat, right? You're not honestly worried too much about the Don that I have open in this matchup, I believe, because again, you're just giving everything a rush, so I can't really rest it because there's no target to. Counters out of the 7 at life, I believe, and yeah, we're just hoping that we can survive to play out our 10 drops. Honestly, at this point, I think he does have to go for board, I realize. I was thinking if he just keeps pressuring my life, I'm in a really bad spot, but that's just because I know I don't have any counter. But he doesn't seem to have too much counter after countering out of that 7 swing, right? And then I think only 3 life left. So if you leave my board alone here, you know, 4 swings, you can be in pretty big trouble. So he plays out the Chaka that attaches rested Don to a leader or character, right? I think activate main. And he does that to attach Don to a kid killer. And here's where I'm really afraid if he goes for life. So he's going, I believe, 9 at carrot. And yeah, I'm just gotta let it go. But even if I could save, I'd probably just keep my counter to protect my life. Again, I know I have another 10 drop Doflamingo, so I'm really just worried about 1 character living on board, right? Because I know it can freeze 3 and hopefully kill the kid killer and the, you know, whichever or not I choose to. Yeah, rushing so much stuff out. I don't think he has too much left in hand. So yeah, I'm debating on just what I have to swing into after I play out my 10 drop. So I swing 10 at the Wapple, which he lost his 1k buff, so it's 10 at 6. And yeah, I think he has 2 cards in hand, so that's just a guaranteed you know, get rid of. So we freeze the leader Thatch and the Chaka, and then we swing 6 at the kid killer. We get 2 Don open. So again, he has 2 cards in hand. He counters out of this one, I believe, and then I think we'll just swing 7 into him, because again, leaving the Don open doesn't really matter. So yeah, he has 1 card in hand, so we just kill that. So hopefully he just doesn't have 2 bodies to swing out with this turn, right? If he has like a kid killer and another card that he can give rush to, then I'm pretty much dead. I only have, I think, 2k counter in hand, right? But if I can live this turn, then I got, you know, 2 10 drops to go for a game, and he has like 1 card in hand, or 2 cards in hand. 1 now because he plays with the Wapple, which again buffs himself. And he's got 4 Don, plus the Don you can get from the Shaka, right? The attached Don, and then the remaining Don. So I think it's like 12 at... So he's minusing 2 from my Doflamingo and swinging... I don't really remember, but I just know that I didn't have counters, so I couldn't really do anything about it. But basically just going to do the same thing I did last turn and play out another 10 drop. Freeze the Wapple that was buffed. Freeze the Thatch. And then have to swing to the shock. So swing 10 into him. He dies. 6 at life. Freestand 2. And then I'm thinking about searching, but realistically, I remember I don't have much targets for searching in terms of blockers because my beige is dead and, you know, couldn't even play him out if I did, right? So I think I'm just going to swing 7 at life here. Swing 7 and he takes. So we do have a little bit more counter now with the 2K and 2 1Ks, right? So hopefully, even if he does have 2 characters to rush with, you know, that's probably at least, you know, 7 Don if he has like a 3 cost and then like a Kid Killer. So maybe would be able to counter out one of those swings. But yeah, I mean, playing out 3 10-drop Dofis is... I mean, it's pretty good into any matchup, right? That's just kind of crazy. And just the fact that our Cavendish has been able to survive, getting us a lot more value with our swings off of the 10-drop Dofi turn. But yeah, I realize now that if I didn't block out that first swing with the beige, then... well, I mean, we could have blocked out any other swing. I don't know if he has too much KO in this deck, just a lot of aggression, a lot of rush. But if I didn't, then I'd be at 0 life here. And yeah, he could have just killed me. But it's pretty much GG, as he knows he doesn't have 2 swings. So he's just swinging big at life. But we're just going to go for game following turn anyway. I think he has 3 in hand. So we'll just swing 11 and then like 19. And get the game. But very fun matches. Shout out to my locals. Everyone's really nice. I love it here. People are I like that people bring some variety. You know, we played against an Arlong and a Sanji today. Like, pretty cool. Like Smoker too. Here's the list that I was running in the locals. Again, I kind of already made a bit of changes. I don't really know how much I like the shanks. I know a lot of people do, and that's totally fine. But just for my preference, I think I'm just gonna cut them. I bumped it up to 2 beige from that, and then put Hody back at 4. You know, for my top end, I just really like the 10 drop. I realize that the shanks is good too in a lot of ways, but I'm just really looking for the 10 drop a lot of times and having another target for the 8 drop kid like the beige, especially for Doflamingo. I got a lot of advice on that matchup and plan out more blockers earlier, getting them to either use their resources to bounce these or just having them stick, and then there's just more blockers on the board to protect your 8 drop kid when you play them. Really helping that matchup, you know. And again, I personally just like the 5 cost Bonney because it helps a lot in any black matchup and any like yellow matchup, like keeping them off of like a 10 mom or like a 10 drop ace really helps. And even in the mirror matchup, I found a lot of success with this card too, right? But again, I might bump this up to 4, maybe even keep the beige at 1 for that, but trying to limit my no counter cards. But I really don't like the Hody at less than 4 personally, and if I want this at 4, I'd probably cut a non-counter card for it. So that's the deck list. And again, just a very fun locals. I'm probably going to be playing something different. Again, just wanted to play Bonney with a very different list. You know, this is very different from what I'm used to playing, like Noah Rouge, right? More of our focus on our top end, you know, and some just different ratios for stuff that I'm not used to. So very different list. But either way, let me know what you think of the games, the list, my thoughts and everything. And let me know if you want to see like a different deck for next week or whenever I get to record locals. Again, I really want to play Marco more in this 8.5 format. He is so fun. But also I want to play some more VV, just some other different decks, you know, Vegapunk, etc., etc. So let me know down in the comments, leave a like, subscribe, and I hope to see you in our next video. Bye-bye.